Motivation is loud. Discipline is silent. And only one of them builds authority. Motivation makes you feel powerful. Discipline makes you become powerful. There's a difference. Motivation is emotional. It depends on mood, on music, on inspiration, on someone telling you what you're capable of. Discipline doesn't care about mood. It doesn't wait for the right energy. It doesn't negotiate with comfort. And that's why discipline builds authority. Authority is not built on intensity. It's built on consistency. You can motivate a room for an hour, but you can't lead it long-term without structure. Most men chase motivation because it feels good. It feels like progress. You watch a video. You feel driven. You promise yourself change. But when the emotion fades, so does the action. Authority is not built on promises. It's built on repetition. The man who trains when he doesn't feel like it. The man who works when no one is watching. The man who stays calm when others are emotional. That man becomes stable. And stability creates authority. People don't respect intensity. They respect reliability. If your energy changes every week, your authority disappears every week. If your goals change with your mood, your position weakens with your mood. Motivation creates spikes. Discipline creates structure. And structure signals power. Look at the men who naturally command respect. They don't talk about grind. They don't announce discipline. They don't perform consistency. They live it. Their routines are predictable. Their emotions are controlled. Their standards don't fluctuate. That predictability builds trust, and trust builds authority. Authority is not about dominance. It's about internal order. When your life is ordered, your presence feels ordered. When your habits are stable, your decisions feel stable. When your decisions are stable, people feel safe aligning behind you. Discipline is quiet power. Motivation is emotional noise. And noise never builds long-term respect. Motivation feels powerful. That's why it's dangerous. It gives you the illusion of movement without the proof of structure. When you rely on motivation, you build your identity on emotion. And emotion fluctuates. One day you feel unstoppable. Next week you feel tired. If your standards rise and fall with your mood, people notice. Not consciously, energetically. Authority requires predictability. Not boring predictability, stable predictability. When others know you will act regardless of comfort, your words gain weight. But if your performance depends on inspiration, your positioning becomes fragile. Motivation makes you loud about goals. Discipline makes you quiet about execution. Motivated men talk about what they will do. Disciplined men build what they said. And the room remembers results, not intentions. There's another problem with motivation. It centers the self. How do I feel today? Do I feel driven? Am I inspired? Discipline centers the standard. What needs to be done? Does this align with my system? Is this consistent with who I am? Authority is built when your actions are not negotiable. When people see that you don't bend based on temporary emotion, they adjust to you. Adjustment creates hierarchy. Hierarchy creates authority. Motivation also creates volatility. Volatile energy is exciting, but it's unstable. And instability does not inspire trust. If your mood swings change your effort loses credibility. Authority grows from reliability. Reliability grows from discipline. Not hype, not intensity, not inspiration. The disciplined man does not wait for the right feeling. He executes under neutral emotion. That neutrality builds calm. Calm builds gravity. Gravity builds influence. When your actions are consistent, your presence becomes consistent. And consistency is rare. That's why it commands respect. Authority is felt before it is proven. And discipline is what makes it felt. When a disciplined man enters a room, he doesn't need to announce himself. His posture is controlled. His movements are measured. His energy is stable. There's no rush, no scattered attention, no emotional leakage. Why? Because discipline organizes chaos internally, and internal order creates external calm. Most men try to look authoritative. Disciplined men don't try. Their routines already built the foundation. They wake up when they said they would. They train when it's uncomfortable. They keep promises to themselves. They finish what they start. That self-respect changes posture. It changes tone. It changes eye contact. People can feel when a man does not negotiate with himself. And a man who doesn't negotiate with himself is difficult to move externally. That's authority. Not loud dominance. Not aggressive control. Internal alignment. Discipline creates structure in life. Structure creates stability in behavior. Stability creates predictability. Predictability creates trust. Trust creates authority. You cannot fake that chain. You can fake motivation. You can fake intensity. You cannot fake long-term discipline. Because discipline shows in micro behaviors. In how you respond under stress, in how you handle pressure, in whether you panic when plans change. Disciplined men do not collapse when something goes wrong. They adjust without emotional explosion. That steadiness makes people lean in, because steadiness feels safe, and people follow what feels safe. There's also something else. Discipline removes emotional drama. When your habits are solid, you don't need constant external validation. You don't chase praise. You don't need applause. That detachment increases influence. Because people sense you're not acting for attention. You're acting from principle. Principle commands more respect than passion. Passion fluctuates. Principle persists. Authority grows when your behavior stays the same, whether people are watching or not. If your effort changes when the audience disappears, your authority weakens. But when your standards remain constant, your presence becomes heavier. Heavy presence changes rooms, without noise, without force, without effort. Motivation feels powerful. Discipline makes you powerful. And until you understand the difference, you'll keep chasing emotion instead of building authority. Most men wait to feel ready. They wait for the right mindset, the right energy, the right moment. But authority is not built in the right moment. It is built in repetition. The disciplined man does not wake up and ask, "Do I feel like it today?" He asks, "What is required?" That question changes identity. When your actions depend on emotion, you are led by feeling. When your actions depend on standards, you lead yourself. And self-leadership is the foundation of authority. Think about it. If you cannot control your impulses, your sleep schedule, your consistency, your reactions under pressure, why would anyone trust your direction? Authority is trust amplified, and trust is built through predictability. The disciplined man is predictable in effort, not predictable in weakness. People know he will show up. They know he will finish. They know he will remain stable. That reliability creates weight, and weight creates influence. Motivated men start fast. Disciplined men finish strong. Motivated men talk about transformation. Disciplined men embody it quietly. Motivated men burn bright and fade. Disciplined men build slow and last. Authority is long-term. It cannot be built on temporary intensity. Here's the practical shift. Stop building your identity around how inspired you feel. Start building it around non-negotiables. Non-negotiable wake-up time. Non-negotiable training. Non-negotiable standards in conversation. Non-negotiable emotional control under stress. When your life has non-negotiables, your presence changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You react differently. Because your behavior is no longer unstable. And instability kills authority. Another shift. Detach from visible effort. Discipline is not performance. It's private structure. The more you broadcast your grind, the more you rely on validation. The more you rely on validation, the less internal authority you build. True discipline does not need witnesses. It builds confidence silently. And silent confidence is heavier than loud motivation. When people sense that you are internally ordered, they stop testing your limits casually. They hesitate before crossing boundaries. They listen when you speak, not because you dominate, because your words come from structure. Structure commands attention. Emotion demands it. And demanding attention is not the same as earning it. If you want authority, stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting to feel driven. Stop relying on intensity. Build systems. Build habits. Build standards that do not move. Because the moment your behavior stops fluctuating, your authority stops fluctuating. And once your authority stabilizes, people feel it before you say a word. Discipline is quiet, but it is heavy. And heavy presence changes rooms without raising volume. That's the difference. Not hype, not energy, not speeches, structure, repetition, control. That is what creates authority.